You're watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for joining me this morning on CBT News. Social media has changed the game for car sales, and today we're talking to someone who's mastering it. Javon, who's a sales partner at Premier Autos of Dallas, is known for his hilarious dealership skits. He joins us now to share how he's using comedy to connect with his buyers. Also, the impact of social media on car sales, and what his advice would be for those that want to do what he's doing by using social media to sell more cars and connect with his customers. So, Javon, thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Jim.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. I love this.
Well, this is great. We appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. It looks like, though, in your schedule, you're having the most fun selling cars than anybody I've ever worked with on a showroom floor. So first and foremost, talk to us about how long you've been in the business and how you got started in the business.
Yeah, so I've been in the business for about 3.5 years, selling cars for a dealership. I got started back in St. Louis, Missouri. That's my home.
Okay.
My dad actually sold cars. He would flip whips. He would go to the auction. He'd buy, he'd sell, he'd fix them up. So I kind of got a taste of the game super early. And I went to work for an actual dealership to where I was like, wait, I don't have to buy the car and then fix it and sell it. They just give me the car and I sell it and I get paid.
Right.
So like once I went there, I sold 20 cars. First month, started at a Nissan store and just never looked back. I got that commission check and I never looked back ever since.
That is fantastic. So here comes social media. Certainly it's been around, but the last few years, in terms of people like you in the auto industry, have really tuned in to how to use this to your advantage to move more metal, right? Talk to me about when that first hit and your approach on that.
For sure. So I always knew I was going to combine social media. I wanted to be known as the car guy. I didn't know it would take me to heights of this level, but that's kind of how I started, just getting in front of the camera, promoting the cars that I had in stock. And then one day, once I moved out to Dallas, I met my cameraman, Bellamy, who sold cars with me. And we just were, killing time. Let's go viral today. Let's see if we can make a viral skit. Yeah. And we did. And it reached like 800 to 900,000 people.
Oh my gosh! Wow!
I know, right? And we did it every single day.
Wow! You hit gold right out of the box there.
It's right out of the box. We hit gold, and we stuck with it. We knew we had to be consistent if this was going to be something big.
Yeah, no question. When did I mean, obviously to get a lot of views and a lot of downloads and what have you is one thing, but to actually sell vehicles, were people coming in and saying, hey man, I just saw your video and I want to buy a car and help me buy a car? When did that connect? Because I know some of the people I've spoken to said, yeah, I got a lot of views, but I didn't sell cars at first from it.
Right. And that's true. You have to build that trust. So after a period of time of making 10, 15 videos and they're doing great and they're like, okay, he actually works at this. I pass that Nissan store every single day. I'm actually going to call them and see if he really works there, or, hey, I have a question. I want to see what is negative equity? How much could I get for my trade? And then you start educating these viewers, and then it can turn into a car deal, which it has. And now it's at a height of, like I said, things that I've never seen before now. You're getting messages, DMs every day of, hey, can you help me out? Someone's calling into the store. You kind of got to filter out if they're joking or really want to buy. So it's at that level now for sure.
And I would imagine people come in and say, nope, I'm here to see Banks. I don't want to see anybody else. That's going to be my guy. So they can't, the other salespeople really can't even skate you because these people, they know what you look like. They know what you sound like. They feel comfortable in doing business with you now.
For sure. That's definitely a real thing. I mean, even when you got the FedEx guy coming through or just driving off the mill, like, hey, I know you. You're the guy. You're the TikTok guy. Yeah.
That's great.
So
That's great.
It's amazing. I love it.
What is the dealer that you're working for? How do they feel about this? Are they completely behind you and saying, hey, keep doing what you're doing?
Yeah, so I'm at Premier Autos of Dallas. They are completely behind me. They love what I have going on. And in fact, I love what they have going on. They're embracing social media as well. Yeah. So you got the GM and, the director all embracing social media, all wanting to be a part of it. And just having me on the team I'm able to help and give my pointers as well.
Yeah, no question. I had Russ Flips Whips on a couple of weeks ago, and he said that once he got on, and all of a sudden his dealer principal that he works with, Bondi, I think his name is Biondi, he jumped on, and now he's got his own channel and followers and what have you. And so I guess you showed the people there at Premiere that social media works.
For sure, definitely. Yeah. I showed him that it works, and then I mean, my managing partner / GSM, he has about 20,000 followers on his page.
That's great.
We're growing the actual dealership's page as well. So any way that I can help or get in a video and make it go, even more viral, I'm always for it.
Sure. How important is the comedy part of this? I mean, your segments are pretty funny. They're entertaining to watch. How important is that to the overall success?
I think it's very important. I think everyone has a niche and like what they're good at.
Yeah.
I think what I'm good at is comedy. It's been proven to work, but I think it's also very important because I think to get lots of views, right, there's always a key metric. And for me, comedy is a universal thing that can go viral time and time again.
Yeah.
So using that and incorporating it into my business is how I'm able to get the views that I get and then get the, amount of followers or potential buyers that I'm able to get. So it's very important. I think if you take that away, then I don't get the same amount of reach.
Right. Do I understand you shared the stage with Tom Hanks at NADA this year?
I did.
So talk to me about that experience. That's amazing.
It was like, I was in shock, I was in shock. I was a little nervous, He called me up and we're having like a back and forth banter of like, why am I salesperson of the year? If I was in the market for a car, would you talk me out of this car? And I'm just like talking to him in front of all these people.
Wow.
But it was very nice. I was able to shake his hand, get a picture with him, and it's one of those moments I won't forget. I'm actually framing the picture and putting it on my desk just for a conversation starter.
Wow. I bet that is incredible. That in and of itself, for you to push that out in social media, also takes on a whole nother life, right?
For sure, it definitely does, and I Googled it, I Googled it like Tom Hanks, Capital One, and my name pops up in there. It's just like, wow, like that's a real superstar. I just watched this movie.
That sure is. There's no question about it. It doesn't get any bigger than that in Hollywood, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying. So
That's right.
It was nice.
Any aspirations on your part to take the comedy further? Maybe stand up? Maybe you're the next Chris Rock out there?
I mean, that would be nice. I definitely would love to be in front of the, on the big screen or, stand-up comedy. You never know. Like the way it's moving, put me in a movie. Who knows?
That's right.
But I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
So the producers out there listening to us have this conversation, write a spot for him because he could really make a big difference in the receipts that you get on the movie. But
yes,
so talk to us a little bit for the people that are watching right now. What's your recommendation to the salespeople and managers, for that matter, that are watching us today? What's your recommendation for them to get started? How do they do it, and what should they expect?
For sure. So the first and foremost is getting in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Being comfortable getting in front of the camera. If social media isn't going on anywhere, it's only going to evolve. So like making sure you utilize it in a way to where you can connect with the audience, whether that's you talking to them, you recording your day in the live, or maybe you're not comfortable, but you can do a blog. Yeah. You can write, but somehow, some way, get in front of the people because everyone's on their phone. And I think just starting. When I started out, my first 10 videos or 15 videos didn't get 800,000 views, but it was, after a year or so and the one random day and, I already had content posted, it's when it blew up and I knew what outlet I wanted to go. I knew what worked, but you have to start first.
Right. And don't be discouraged if in the event you've done a few or you've done it for a couple of months and people aren't rushing in the door asking for you by name at your dealership. It doesn't work that way necessarily, right? Give it time.
Correct. It's a long-term game. You're building brand. So everything you do online is going to follow you. Yeah. So make sure you're careful with what you're putting out there, but also at the same time, you know that it's a long-term game. So like I said, I've been doing it for 3.5 years now, but you can go back to 2 years ago. Some of my content is like, hey, I remember that video, or hey, like now, compared to a new guy who's coming onto the social media car space, I have more time in the game and more trust that was built because I was building brand over the course of 3 years.
Right, right. So if we were having this conversation with you 5 years from now, where would you be in the business? Where would you be on social media? What are your goals here?
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely have thought about, moving up the ranks of car sales, but I really do like selling cars, like being on the ground. I like having that one-on-one connection. So it would have to make sense if I was to be in a higher level of it.
Yeah.
But definitely, like you said, maybe a movie, maybe a TV show, maybe a, stand-up comedy. I think that could definitely take a life with how we're going right now. I didn't expect to meet Tom Hanks, so like who knows where that kind of leads.
That's right.
Leads up
That's right.
to. And as far as the social media, definitely finding new ways to bring comedy and car sales together. Maybe it's not a skit, but maybe it's a day in the life or something of that nature. But I can see in 5 years a lot of progress because I didn't expect this much in 3.
That's right. Or maybe it's a monthly segment on CBT News to come on every month. And
there we go.
We got to talk about that then.
I'm loving that. I'm loving that.
All right. My producer's already writing these notes down, so I'm sure we're going to be on a telephone conversation about it. But
let's do it.
I'd love it. Javon Banks, sales partner at Premier Autos of Dallas. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule there and off your camera, but on my camera. So thank you so much for joining me. And as I said, I'd love to do a follow-up with you because what you're doing is so exciting for the industry.
You got to get me out there. You're in Atlanta, right?
Yes, we are. Yep.
You got to get me out there in Atlanta. Maybe we can do one in person, and then you get on one of my skits.
I would love it. I'd love it. Let's do it. We'll make it happen.
Let's do it.
All right, man. Thanks so much.
No problem.
Take care.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.